What's up guys, it's Cobalt here and welcome back to another video. Today's video is in collaboration with Basic Fun, the people behind Lps Pet Shop, and as you can see, I have some of the main 5 LPS behind me because they are going to be the stars of today's video, or more so, the inspiration. For a little bit, I was doing a customizing series on my channel where I would take a G7 LPS and translate the design into what I think it would look like as a main 5 LPS, but obviously the main 5 LPS are officially back, they now exist in G7, so I thought that I would take that idea and do a little bit of a different challenge in what I am calling the Lps Mashup challenge. So this will make a little bit more sense as I go along. You guys can also do this yourself and do it with other Lps Pet Shops as well, but because we have the main 5 pets back here, I am going to be dividing these guys up into 5 categories, and based on which category they fulfill, I will use that to create one new custom. So with all that info out of the way, let me explain exactly how we're going to do this. Alright, so here are the main 5 pets. Obviously in G7 there are also currently 2 Cocker Spaniels and 2 short hair cats, but I'm only going to be using these 2 because I feel like, you know, this lineup of these 5 are kind of like the most iconic ones so far. So the 5 categories we're going to have in this video are base figure, base color, markings, marking color, and eye color. So I'm going to be sorting each of these LPS into one of those categories completely randomly, and that will decide what our custom will look like. So I am just going to sort of, you know, mix up these LPS right here. I'm going to close my eyes. Okay, my eyes are closed, please believe me. Mixing them up, and I am choosing this LPS. Okay, so the first LPS is the collie, which means our custom is going to be made from a collie base. Okay, my eyes are closed again. Now we are going to be picking the pet for the base color, and I have selected the short hair cat. So far our custom is going to be a collie with sort of like a, I guess, yellow base color. So far so good. I love collies, so I'm glad, you know, that we're using a collie custom for this project. We got 3 LPS left, mixing them up again. So now this LPS is going to determine what kind of markings our custom will have. And, oh, okay, I got the Great Dane, so he is pretty interesting. I think the Cocker Spaniel maybe would have been cooler for markings, but we can definitely still work with this. All right, so next up, this is also falling into the category of the markings. Whichever of these 2 pets we pick here will decide what color the markings will be. And I have selected the Dachshund. So, I mean, the 2 colors we're gonna have here are pretty similar. Maybe that will work, maybe it won't. We'll just have to see. And that means that our one final pet left will determine the eye color, and that is the Cocker Spaniel, so she has teal eyes. Definitely interesting choices that we got. So now I'm going to pull out my drawing program and decide exactly what this custom is going to look like before I start painting it. Alright, so here's my little sketch. It goes by very, very quickly because this custom is so simple. When I thought up this challenge, I thought that I was gonna make like some crazy elaborate custom, but no, this guy is like literally just 2 colors, which, you know, made it easy for me so that I could actually paint this custom quickly and get this video out when I wanted to. But I think that just means that I need to do this challenge again in the future. So if you guys like watching this video, let me know down below in the comments. But anyways, my process for all of my customs, especially when there's no sculpting involved, is pretty much the same every single time. I started off by doing my base coat of this yellow color, which I mixed, and when I do base coats to get it super smooth, I add a little bit of water into the paint just so that it's, you know, smoother and more fluid. Of course, this does mean you have to do a lot more layers than you think you normally would need, but it's just something that comes with the territory, and it's a process that you learn the more you go along. I do have a custom tutorial video up on my channel, but it's kind of old at this point, so I'm hoping that I can do a new one in the future, hopefully before this year ends. So your guys' support on videos like this definitely helps me get the motivation I need to work on bigger projects like that in the future. Base coating is super boring, so I did most of that process off camera, so you only see me apply a few layers here, but I probably did like 5 layers. This is also a really light color, so that doesn't really help. But after that, I went in with the markings, and I have a really nice opaque paint that I got to use for that color. So luckily that only really needed like 1 layer pretty much, and then maybe another layer to do some little touch-ups here and there. So that was definitely the easiest part of the custom for me to paint. And you know, in the beginning when I chose the LPS, I was really uncertain of the color palette that I was going to be working with here, but I do really love yellow, and I love like the way that these 2 kind of sandy dandelion colors go together, and so I definitely think that the final custom turned out very cute, and obviously you guys will see him in his full glory at the end of the video. I'm sure all of you guys know this by now, but I sell my LPS customs. I also take commissions over on my Etsy, but if you're interested in this Lps Pet Shop in particular, he will not be for sale on my eBay shop where most of my pre-made customs go up. He will actually be for sale at LPS Meet Me in Chicago this August. I'll be there, some other LPS creators you know will be there. You should definitely come check it out. Obviously, if he doesn't sell there, then he'll go up on my eBay, but I'm hoping that he'll sell because he's really cute, guys. Come on. Okay, so now it's time for me to do the eyes. That was definitely really hard for me to do on camera because I was holding the LPS and the paintbrush so far away from me, and I was also like holding it off to a side angle. So filming this was really difficult and really weird. That's why I don't do time lapses as much as you think I would with how many customs I make. So that's another reason why I'm honestly really grateful with how simple this custom ended up being. But yeah, you can see that I messed up a little bit with the eyes, especially when I was doing the eyeliner. I think a lot of people look at my customs and believe that like doing that outline in the eyes is super easy and that I do it in like one fell swoop, and sometimes I do, sometimes it turns out really well, but other times like this guy, it gets a little bit messy around the edges, so you just have to go in with your other paint color and touch that up a little bit so that it looks like you did it flawlessly. If you head on over to the official Littlest Pet Shop YouTube channel, I actually have a video on there that I got to make where I show you guys how to make really simple customs if you want to officially like start out, you've never done any customizing before and you want to get into it to make your own slightly customized LPS. I talk a little bit about how to paint eyes over there, and very soon, hopefully like beginning of July, I will finally be posting my tutorial on how exactly I paint LPS style eyes, because I do them a lot and I feel like I've gotten quite good at them recently, so I hope you guys are excited to see that video as well. But yeah, that's all I have to say about this guy in regards to the actual time lapse, so I hope you enjoy watching the rest of my process. And here is the final custom. I'm pretty happy with how he came out. It was just a really quick, simple, easy project. Obviously, just by looking at him, you can see that this is an incredibly simple custom, but I do want to do a final last little comparison between each of the LPS that basically worked to create this guy, and a little bit more of my final thought process. So of course, as always, here is a little turnaround of the custom. I definitely could have used one of the normal collie bases, but I decided to use a paw-up collie just because the G7 collie is obviously a paw-up one. But yeah, again, very simple. This basically just has 4 colors making it up. We got the 2 colors on the markings, and then the eye color, and then some black detailing. So once again, we had this collie for the base figure, and then we had this short hair cat for the base color. I'm gonna spin them around so we can compare the colors. This one is a little bit more saturated, but I think I got the colors pretty spot on camera at least. They definitely look very similar. And then for markings, we had the Great Dane. I guess I changed up the facial marking a little bit because here you can see the snout and the eye marking are not connected, but they are connected here on my custom. Because this one had the light color inside the ears, I decided to kind of paint the inside of the ears, or like the underside of the ears for the collie, and then obviously you can see on the body the design elements that I used there as well. But like I said in the beginning of the video, definitely happy that I got this guy for the markings because I do like the markings that this Great Dane has. For marking colors, we had the Dachshund, so we can do another color comparison. I'll just make them kiss each other, I guess. Obviously, this one's markings are a little bit lighter than this one. I had to mix the base color, but the marking color was just like a random paint that I had that I thought fit pretty well, and it is definitely a very close color. I do think that it's cool that we got 2 yellow toned colors, so at least even though they're similar, they go together and the design doesn't look crazy. Now, one thing, obviously, I decided to give this guy a black nose, which, you know, the Great Dane also had a black nose, so that's totally fine. I decided to give him the freckles that the Dachshund has, even though technically maybe that would be like a marking detail of this LPS, but I think it's cute, and I just thought that it would work to, again, show that this is a mashup of a bunch of different LPS. Finally, we had the Cocker Spaniel for the eyes. The darker color in both I think is quite similar, but the top color that the Cocker Spaniel has is a little bit more of a green hue, and mine is just more of a light blue that honestly you can't really see. But yeah, aside from that, those are basically all the ways that I combine these LPS into one custom, which is really funny because I feel like all of these main 5 pets here are quite detailed, but my custom ended up coming out very simple. But I do really like him, and I hope you guys like him as well. So of course, thank you guys for following me along on this customizing challenge, and if you guys want to do the challenge as well, you totally should, and definitely tag me so I can check out what you guys make. Of course, don't forget to go check out Littlest Pet Shop. If you want to buy the sets that feature any of the LPS shown in this video, those will all be linked down below in the description from various websites. Thank you once again to Littlest Pet Shop for sponsoring this video, and I will see you guys all in my next one. Bye!